Hi, welcome back to the second part of tonight's show where we're going to look forward to all the Pro 12 and also all of the Six Nations games. So boys, we'll start off with the Pro 12 first. We take on Treviso after a few weeks off.
In a game that, from what I can see, is not televised.
Possibly not.
Does it not have a deal with Eurosport, no?
The Italian, yeah, they have, but I'm not sure if that's for this season or not.
Okay.
There's an Italian online site that covered the last, and they have a deal with them.
Because there's no little logo on the Pro 12 site. So.
It's a formal thing.
Might get an online stream of it somewhere.
Well, no, it's an online service provider. It's not a dodgy stream. It's the actual thing. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll actually have a if I mean you'd believe Sean Spicer before you believe a press release in Irish rugby. You know, apparently everyone who's injured isn't anymore. So we'll see.
Well, McFadden was on the radio on Friday night doing a preview on News Talk, and he definitely has. I think said he must have been one of the few players ever looking forward to playing against Treviso during the Six Nations.
Carberry's back.
Joey Carberry's back, and
Ross is back. Dave Kearney is back. I'm pretty sure Ross is actually good. If he's not good to go this weekend, he's not far off.
Good.
That's going to be a huge boost to us, to have a guy of Ross's experience to shore up our scrum.
Which actually didn't really need shoring up as it happened anyway, because you've got Dooley, you've got Bent, young Byrne is back, Porter, and having Ross there as well is just like a cherry on a scrummaging cake.
You've named one tight head there apart
I know,
from
but
Ross,
I'm saying we've got two excellent players. It wasn't as if we were kind of, oh my God, we're going to have to put Joey Carberry in a tight end.
And those props do like their cake, Dave.
They do, yes.
But
a nice Victoria sponge.
But who was coming behind Michael Bent on the tight head side?
Oh,
you're into the academy.
Yeah,
so, it is good to have the guy, a bit of experience on the park there. And it's going to be interesting to see, because the guys who've done so well, Adam Byrne and Rory O'Loughlin. Now, Rory O'Loughlin will probably get sucked into the centre because Gary Ringrose and Henshaw are with Ireland. So that's one wing taken care of. So, you can't see either Fergus McFadden or Dave Kearney dislodging Adam Byrne in the form that he's in.
Depends on... Hello, Leo. Yeah, this is Joe. I want Fergus and Dave to play. Yeah, bye.
I don't think so. That's going to happen at all.
Well, he might want Dave Kearney for the Six Nations squad.
Possibly.
He loves the guy. So there's...
Who knows? But one of them is probably going to be at 23, and the other is going to be at 14. That'll be the height of it, I'd say. Unless he pays maybe Dave Kearney a full back.
Yeah, he could do that as well.
You wouldn't know.
But we do kind of need a bonus point because we've lagged a little bit behind now. I think we're three.
Oh, yeah, we have to have a bonus point.
We're three behind the Ospreys, and Munster won their game in hand against Edinburgh.
Bonus point is critical.
Yeah, that's something
Munster
we
didn't get.
Something we didn't look back on. In the first part was Munster doing the job in Edinburgh. Wasn't pretty, but
a game of Italy-Wales levels of dourness.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
It certainly wasn't pretty.
Tell you what, there was a great crowd in it.
Yeah.
And that moved. I mean, I'm sure it was full of Irish/Munster fans over for the international game, but it still shows that a stadium like that is just the right size for Edinburgh. 5,000 or 6,000 capacity stadium,
right size,
and even if it's empty, even if there's only 2,000 at it,
it still
looks
full.
It still looks a lot fuller than
You put 2,000 into 67,000 seater stadium. You put 2,000 into a 5,000, 6,000 seater stadium.
But I'm glad that they've managed to get, because that was one of the, we've said it loads of times, but it seems to have worked for Glasgow. And I do one thing I noticed. I think I texted you during the game, during the under-20s and the ladies' game. Now, there wasn't a massive crowd at either of those two games, but it was played in Clyde's football ground, which I don't know how far away it is from Glasgow, but it just looked like a very nice, tight little stadium with an artificial pitch.
Yeah.
That
Glasgow
might be something that they could look at, because it looked a bit bigger than Scootstown.
It's not really.
There's no.
And it doesn't have the ability. It doesn't have the one thing about Scottstown is it's loads of space, so you can expand it.
Yeah.
Glasgow can expand that Scottstown up to 15,000 if they need to, by filling in various different parts of the thing.
Munster are playing one of the third Italian teams,
the Dragons.
And
there's
Ospreys are on the road with us in Zebre on the Friday night. So it's not as if the two people ahead have a real challenging.
Exactly.
Let's
Yeah.
hope the Ospreys bus gets delayed.
So I think we need to see the Ospreys bus,
Derailed.
derailed or have a puncture, or something serious has to happen to it.
But we absolutely have to have 5 points.
Absolutely.
The interesting thing is going to be, amongst many interesting things, is will Joey Carberry start or will he be benched for
I
the
think
last
that
20
Ross
minutes?
Byrne.
I think that they bring them on gradually, and who knows?
Well,
But
the other way of looking at that is if Joey Carberry is of unknown fitness, then you put him up, you start him, and see how long he lasts. And Ross
could-
Byrne can always take over.
It could be an element. Oh,
Proved
by the way,
himself.
Leo, I forgot to mention in my last phone call.
we need
I
this
think
lad in.
you think a lot more into these. Like, I mean, I know for a fact that Joe Schmidt does ring up and say things to to Leo or whoever, but
This is for Dave.
I think I think that you see things land a lot more.
I know
than
if
they-
I was the Irish coach
really
and I had
happen.
two potential Irish internationals like say Carney and Carberry,
What
I
about-
I couldn't care less about it. When you're the Irish coach, you don't care less about the problem.
What-
No, you don't care less, but you need guys for maybe not for the Italy game, but you're going to need them for Scotland, for England, for Wales, for England, for France.
Do you think he's on the phone to Ibanez?
Who?
Asking
Joe
about
Schmidt?
Madigan.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, yeah, no.
No,
Well, how
Well,
many,
even Madigan's having a real battle there to get starts. Actually,
he's not even starting, so
Yeah,
it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it?
how about Joe Schmidt ringing up and saying, "Look after that
Well,
fella
there's a chance,
Adam
there's
Byrne."
a chance for getting games at 9 now. And everybody seems to want Ian Madigan to play 9. Baptiste Duran is away with the French squad.
Well, Adam Byrne might be the one that Joe Schmidt might like to see.
Yeah, well, I
Get the
wouldn't
run.
mind seeing him getting a go against Italy. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it's not going to happen. I
I
don't
think
think
he's
this week.
well away from this
Yeah,
one.
I
I
think
think so. I think it's a season too soon for him.
I would say so as well, but I wouldn't mind getting a run with the squad. Sorry, rather than actually the team, but getting a run with the squad in the game, run up to the Italy game. But it's not going to happen. So
Well, there was obviously a couple of sad pieces of news since our last show. So a Leinster one was Professor Arthur Tanner passing away, which was very sad. I mean, he
Yeah.
was a gentleman and
a close friend of Jim O'Connor's family, once
That's
of his
right,
parish,
yeah.
as they say.
Yeah.
And a very nice man, just a gentleman. He was.
Just never hear a bad word about anybody. I mean, I know a lot of people who know him and or have had experiences with him, and every single one of them, there's not one saying he was all right. They're all saying he was just
Lovely
total
man. Yeah.
gentleman.
Like back in my old SC days, he'd be foostering around the tunnel doing various different things, and he was always there. And he was just always such a nice guy,
yeah, there was nice couple of tributes on Leinster fans from fellas who had little personal stories of him, and he just came. Obviously, Juice van der Westhuizen
Yeah.
passed away as well, unfortunately. As well, like he was a super rugby player. I'm sure might be some people who watch this mightn't remember him, but he was an absolutely fantastic.
It's very easy to
scrum
remember.
half.
Watch Conor Murray.
I was about to say he was the 1990s
He was the
version of
there are guys.
Mike Phillips.
You get a guy like Keith Woods, who's a great hooker, right? Keith Woods was a great hooker, but the guy who'll always be remembered to a certain extent is Sean Fitzpatrick, because Sean Fitzpatrick reinvented the position. Keith Woods kind of took what Sean Fitzpatrick started and took it to the next level. Youth van der Westhuizen reinvented the scrum half position.
Well, he was
Yeah.
the first. Like all scrum halves used to be about 5'6",
Yeah,
and he was suddenly a 6-footer.
yeah,
Playing-
6'1", 15 stone.
And a very big, powerful man, almost like an auxiliary back row player. And that's what Conor Murray is and Mike Phillips, as you mentioned. And, rather than the smallest lad on the
he
pitch.
reinvented the position, and did it all with huge success. It should be remembered. I mean, it was not an easy time to come into that South African team in the run up to a World Cup. There was huge pressure on the team, both from a sporting and a political perspective. And he came into that team, himself and Joel Stransky. And mightn't have been I remember Johan Rue was the scrum half before him, and he'd had a bunch of caps. And Stransky, neither him nor Stransky were the nation's favourites to start
Like, who'd
in
have
that World
thought
Cup.
of
And
all-
they ended up, with his pass, Joel Stransky's drop goal.
Of all nations on earth, who'd have thought they would have come up with a big scrum half? South Africa, they're all very small people over there. Maybe they ran out of small scrum halves. They just had to put them in.
Well, that was it. I mean, they are very conservative people as well, so the idea of a small scrum half would appeal to them.
Well, anyway, moving back to the rugby. We obviously take on Italy over in Rome next weekend. They've only beaten us once since they're in the in the Six Nations.
Mm.
So that was 4 years ago, which was a terrible day for Irish rugby.
England are the only Northern Hemisphere nation that, or the only Six Nations nation that have not been beaten by
And you know what?
Italy.
They actually have the same record as Scotland, except up to last weekend. There was Scotland's 11th win, and Italy have 10 wins in the
Wow.
Six Nations.
Wow, that's hard to believe.
Isn't it?
Isn't that mental?
Yeah.
Isn't it? But no, I don't care about that. I think
I don't want them to get their 11th
No,
this
definitely.
weekend.
I want them to be crushed into the Roman dirt, where they can join the bones of their ancestors. Rome is built on Rome. I want the next level of Rome to be built on this Italian team.
Well,
I thought
we need a much improved performance. We have
Yes.
to get going from the start of the match.
we need a 4 try. We need a bonus point win.
We kind of do.
We need to get a bonus point
Oh.
before we win the game. No, wait, hold on.
We need a bonus point win. We do have to get a bonus point.
Well,
win, you know?
ourselves and France were the only two countries that got bonus points at the weekend, which is, you might have actually said, well, God, England could have put up a big score on France. Certainly, you would have
Historically,
expected
they have as well.
Wales to possibly come away from the
Run up 4 tries,
from
yeah.
that match. So we kind of, even though we lost, thank God of the bonus points at this stage, that it's in our favour that we have
Yeah.
1 point. But do you think, can you see any changes within the team?
It depends on fitness.
Okay, well, just let's say everyone's fit, right? Would you make
Well-
any change, or even just take that we've only got the team that's available that we
yeah,
that
the
was
50-50 calls from last week are all fit.
yes,
Um,
and who are we going to bring back in, and who are we going to drop from the? Who do you think deserves to be dropped?
Deserves all of them.
I'd say Joe might take the let them achieve what's the word, retribution, or let them retrieve themselves, let them prove themselves. I'd say that might be the case. Who's going to come back in? Like O'Mahony and Sexton probably won't make it physically. Dunick Ryan, I'm not sure.
There's rumours that Furlong sat out training today in
I heard
Carton
that
House.
as well,
So
yeah.
If we weren't playing Italy, I would have brought Ryan back in for Henderson straight away.
he
How-
was, I think he was available last weekend,
Was he?
but he hadn't trained
Maybe
until the
knee
Tuesday. A ligament in his knee or his ankle was strained.
I wouldn't for the game against Italy. Actually, I don't think it's as pressing. So if he needs another week, then I would give him that other week,
One or two.
and I would use.
Delan?
I would go with Delan personally. I think he offers more. I think he's played better for Ireland more often.
Would you bring Van der Fleer in?
No, I'd keep a strong back row. I would bring Murray onto. I would bring O'Mahony onto the bench, along with Van der Fleer, because I do think that one area where we can get a good advantage against Italy is they have a good back row, and it's not just a one man. We'll assume Parise is fit. It's not just a one man thing now. I mean, your man Stain was very, very good as well. So we're gonna if we can take them on and then bring on, a couple of fresh bodies in the back row to make a big difference.
One change that they made, and I don't know whether it was tactical or whether it was because of an injury, was when they brought Tommy Bowe on. I just thought that was such a can a winger really have that much of an influence from a tactical change?
Well, the
Well, not
answer
unless-
was no, really.
No, and especially not Tommy Bowe. Unless you're going to lump balls in the air, which we weren't going to do. You can make a tactical change if you're going to actually make a change to the tactics. But I don't think that worked. And even if it did, I wouldn't bring Tommy Bowe back in. If I was bringing anyone else in on the wing, it'd be Trimble.
Yeah, who is also touch and go
Yeah.
fitness wise. So
So Wales are playing England. Those two teams absolutely hate each other. It's in Cardiff.
come on, Wales.
Well, no, they don't hate one another. England don't hate Wales. England have no opinion about Wales whatsoever. Wales hate England.
Well, I don't care who hates who as long as Wales beat them, and then I'll get the flu the week we're playing them.
England will beat Wales handy.
Well, you can't see Wales losing both of their home games, between England and Ireland. So they're going to win one of them.
Well, I hope it's this one.
I don't see Wales winning either of their home games.
No?
No, I don't think. They're just for a whole variety of reasons. I mean, there's a whole variety of reasons why they won't. I mean, for a start, England are better than Wales. If they get any of their injured bodies back on the field, I mean, there's no question about it. Secondly, I believe Ireland are better than Wales too. So,
Yeah, Wales are a funny animal though. I mean, on one hand, they've no Gatland, he's off down there. Last time that happened, they
won it.
lose to us and they
Yeah.
won the bloody championship.
Yeah.
They lost to us in the They lost the first half of the first game, came back, won the second half of the first game, and won every other game.
Was that the day that
was the
Simon
Zebo flick.
Zebo did his flick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his flick.
The other-
And not only that, but they have this Six Nations aura about them. Conventional
Wales.
conventional wisdom would tell you that the team is on a downward spiral. Like it's gone over the edge of its. They've been together a long time, playing the same kind of rugby for the same. And their last World Cup was probably, you'd say going to be their high point for quite a few seasons. But Wales just have this way of, whatever it is, Team Wales, Club Wales, whatever. They have this way of peaking for a Six Nations, and I
But,
would.
yeah, but you look. I mean,
They're not very good, though.
we've gone
They're
through,
not,
but they do it every year. They go through a mediocre autumn internationals.
Yeah.
They have their teams consistently underperform in Europe, regularly underperform in the Pro 12, except for the Ospreys occasionally win it, and yet they come together as a united body and play winning rugby. Maybe not the most pretty rugby, but winning rugby, and they generally do okay. Or they do win Grand Slams. They win championships in the Six Nations.
They've a
Warren
great-
Gatland did a deal with the devil, and he's allowed to win more Six Nations than he would otherwise, but he has to promise not to beat very many Southern Hemisphere teams, and that's
You're saying the devil is an Antipodean.
that's the devil. The devil is an All Black.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, ultimately, that Wales have a great team. There's a great club ethos within the national team, and they've engendered it very successfully. But at the end of the day, when you meet teams that are better than you, you generally lose them.
Mm-hmm.
And England are better than Wales. Now, England are a bit again. They're going to be injury hit,
Mm-hmm.
but so I believe Wales are as well. They've had a few bumps and bruises along the way, so you'd have to wonder whether they'd be able to put it up to the English.
And then we have Scotland and France
In Paris.
in Paris. That Scotland gave France a really big.
Scotland
Sure.
aren't afraid to go
They've
to
had
Paris.
good
It's one of
results
the
in Paris in the
few
past,
They
yeah.
can do
matches that the Scottish team seems to be for years we couldn't buy a win in France.
Yes.
that. Well, we'd all like to see France softened up a little bit more by Scotland beating them. But having said that, then they'd be even more angry and even more wanting to beat us in Dublin. But
There used to be a thing that France, they'd start off at Six Nations. They'd lose quite badly in the first game. We'll say to a strong Welsh or a strong English team, and then they'd make wholesale changes. By the time they got to us, they'd have made a whole set of wholesale changes maybe twice and happened upon the right team. Now that hasn't happened because they actually played really well against England,
But I think
and they have, as you say, that limited squad.
I don't think France have finished outside of the bottom three for the last 5
5 or
seasons.
6 seasons, yeah,
It's incredible,
it's
isn't it?
amazing. When you consider how they were winning back-to-back Grand Slams and shit like that.
Or they were in a World Cup final, a couple of years before that.
Yeah, that was quite recent.
Yeah. 11.
So if France could get back to their level of even like when they beat us in 2007, and that Elvis Vermeulen, what's your man's name, the Irish TMO that came,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
McDowell,
or
was it?
Scottish, Irish
Irish,
TMO
English team against Scotland.
against Scotland. Yeah.
France, the national team in France, I think, is in serious. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think not this team, but the concept of the national team in France is in serious trouble. While they have the
I
club
think there's
structure that they have.
changes coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was just listening to Jackman talk about it there the other night, and he seemed to be saying, well, there is sort of a change because of the politics within the French
But I
Union.
think it was him that said that Guy Novès threatened to walk if
Laporte was...
Laporte was elected.
Well, Laporte said-
but then he didn't.
Laporte said he'd sack Novès on his first day.
So there you go.
So I wouldn't worry. Presidents say weird things in
Too long.
everywhere, everywhere. But presidents of French rugby are second only to the United States presidents currently for saying strange things that don't get carried out.
That's
So
true.
there's a huge. I mean, the politics of French rugby are internecine at best. So, but I do think that the French club game is just so strong now that the national team has fallen by the wayside to a certain extent.
Well, we'll see if they claw
See
it
if,
back.
if Le
Over
Pen
the next-
Le Pen gets in now, there could be the surge of
Nationalism. Vive la France! Yeah.
Well, let's just hope that doesn't happen, because the nationalist parties and French rugby do play too well together, so they do.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
The less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
But anyway, boys, as ever, thanks very much, and thanks again for watching. Cheers.